How's it going, guys? Mcfgotmillk here and welcome back to another auto video. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to clean up these foggy headlights. As you can tell, they're pretty worn down, pretty old. My sister just got her license, so this is her car, and I'm going to be able to fix this up for her, hence why I'm doing this here. It's a Mazda 6. It's better to fix it yourself because, again, these headlight units can go from $100 to $200 on any car, and it's expensive, so why spend the money when you can DIY it and do it yourself? What's causing this is just time and UV damage, and it's just plastic, so plastic gets worn down over time. So the top layer of plastic is worn. So what we're pretty much gonna do is just completely sand down the top layer of plastic, bring a brand new plastic layer up to the top, and protect it. That simple. And this is all you're gonna need. You're gonna need some water or a water source. I have two, just because they're small bottles. Masking tape, so we can tape off the headlight so we don't sand the paint. Trash bags, so when we use our clear coat, we don't overspray. Alcohol to clean, get all the grease off stuff, and it evaporates a lot easily. Sandpaper, I have 400, 800, and 1500. 400 is for if your headlights are really bad, like these ones are, and then you can skip 400 if it's not as bad and go to 800. But I'm doing 400 because, like I said, they're pretty bad. So here's the clear coat. It's clear gloss, it's from Rust-Oleum, and the big thing is right here, non-yellowing, UV resistant. And on the back, if you look right here, I don't know how well you'll see it, it says it sticks to most plastics, and again, that's what we're wondering and what we have to do because, again, that's plastic. And then after this is all said and done, we're gonna use some wax to protect it. That simple, let's get into it. So our headlight is all taped off and ready to proceed. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our water, we're gonna grab our 400 grit sandpaper, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray the entire headlight and make sure it's nice and wet and soaked. Again, the water acts as a lubricant between the sandpaper and the headlight itself. And then we're gonna take, so once it's all nice and wet, we're gonna wet our sandpaper. And then again, as you're sanding, you're gonna constantly make sure it's nice and wet because we do not wanna get super deep scratches in our headlight. And then we're gonna go in circular motions. Nice and wet. Circular motions. And again, we are not pushing down hard at all into all the little cracks and crannies. Because again, you wanna do a good job with this. I don't know if you can see it real well, but it's gonna look like milk. And that's what we wanna see, is because we wanna see the old plastic run down. After you're done doing your circular motions, then we're gonna do a horizontal type of sand, just to get it all nice and done with. So again, wet it all nice and down with our sandpaper, and horizontal. Just like that. After you're done, you can pretty much see that it's all kind of clearing up now. All you should be able to see is the scratches. You shouldn't be seeing any more yellowing, which is what I'm actually seeing. So again, we're gonna take our water and our 800 grit, just to show that it's 800, you can kind of see it's dripped off there. And we're gonna wet the entire headlight down again, make sure it's nice and soaking wet. Our sandpaper, nice and wet. And we're gonna do the exact same thing, and in circular motions. With this, with the 800 grit, I'm seeing a lot more milky kind of runoff, which is exactly what we want. So we know we are doing it right, and we are in the right direction. And then again, we're just gonna go again, and we're gonna do a last horizontal sanding. And as you can see how milky it is, if the milky runoff, you see all that? That's how we know we're getting all that old plastic off. And we are doing a fantastic job with what we are doing. Before we move on to our 1500, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our water and the paper towel. We're gonna wet this completely down again. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it, obviously, and we're gonna clean it off. We're gonna wipe it down to get all the plastic particulates off because, again, the 1500 is kind of a small grit type of sandpaper, and it will clog the sandpaper, so we're gonna do our best with, God, I cannot say the word, preventative maintenance, there you go. With our 1500, we are just gonna skim the surface pretty much because it is kind of small. It's just pretty much cleaning up, it's the final touch. So once again, we're gonna get this all nice and soaky and wet. Gonna wet the sandpaper down, wet it down again. And again, we are just skimming the surface. Nice and simple, skimming the surface. Nothing crazy. And then again, last but not least, we're going to do a horizontal sweep as a final touch. Honestly, I don't see any oxidization, I don't see any yellowing, I just see the scratches caused by the sandpaper, and that is exactly what we are looking for. Next, you're going to use your trash bags, the trash bag up your car pretty much, to protect from the overspray from the spray paint that's going to be coming up next. But before we do that, grab your isopropyl alcohol and a microfiber towel, and we're just going to pour the alcohol all on this towel like so, and then we are going to clean the headlight housing unit just like so. Just like this. As you can see, it looks like it's going to be like crystal clear after you use it, but unfortunately that is such a deceiving lie. So like I said, just make sure it's all nice and clean. As you can see, it's right back to being extremely hazy. But don't worry, we're almost there. Sorry about the noise in the background. I have a little fan running so that the overspray doesn't hit the camera. Hence, that's what that noise is. So we're going to take our clear gloss and we're going to do multiple coats. We're going to do nice and light coats. We're not doing heavy coats because they will run. Trust me, it may not look good at first, but it will in the end. That's why we're doing multiple coats. So again, just pretty much done. And we're going to do 3 of these coats roughly at about 5 minutes apart. So I moved the camera back a little bit for, again, overspray purposes. So we're going to spray, we're going to shake, and we're going to spray and get it done with. All right, here we go. As you can see, just from that clear coat, look how clear it is. It looks perfect. But again, this is only 1 coat, and I'll be back in 5 minutes to do the next coat. So it's been about 5 minutes. We're gonna do a second coat. Again, make sure you get the corners and the edges because you wanna make sure it's evenly spread. So again, we're doing our second coat. Again, nice, simple, and not heavy coats. So we'll be back in 5 minutes to do our last coat. It is looking really good as is, and we're gonna do our final application, our final clear coat. So we're gonna give it a nice shake. And again, make sure this is where you're gonna wanna get all your crevices and stuff because we're gonna wait 24 hours after it dries to see the final product. Light coats. Just like that, and then we're gonna wait 24 hours to see the final product, and I promise you it's gonna look very nice. As you can see, it's looking pretty good, but we're gonna leave everything on for now. Just again, we don't wanna peel off and then cause something to happen, so we're just gonna wait till the final product happens. As you can see, everything's fully covered, and as it dries, it gets more clear and clear, and then I'll be back in 24 hours to see the final product. It has been 24 hours and I would say that it looks extremely, extremely good. It is dry to the touch. So now we're gonna remove our trash bags. Now with our trash bag removed, we're gonna do our last and final step, which is wax. We're waxing it because this is clear coat, just like your car, however, is metal, paint, clear coat. The wax protects clear coat. So what we have to do now is just wax this up, wait for it to dry, buff it off, and look at the actual finished product. So wax, microfiber towel, put some on like that. And then we're just going to apply a good amount of it on. Again, mine's a little cold because again, the garage is absolutely freezing. So it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for me. But again, if you do this in warmer temperature, it's gonna be a lot easier for you, I promise. But for me, it looks a little like I'm struggling because, well, I am. Because it is ice cold. All right, now we're gonna wait for it to dry, wait for it to get all hazy, we're gonna buff it off and see the actual finished product. Now with it dry, we're just gonna buff it off. Get all the crevices. Now it's nice and smooth. And then we're gonna take off the rest of the tape. When it gets a little warmer, I'll take off the rest of the tape, but look at that. That is crystal clear compared to this, which is what it pretty much started off as. Extremely hazy, very awful to the touch, to completely see-through, very smooth. I would say that definitely worth it. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is actually a very simple and easy way to restore your headlights. If you found this helpful, or if you did it, or if you know any other tips that I could learn, leave down in the comments below. I would love to go over them and try them out. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a comment and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.